old Asian woman with a crowbar. Just guys, my name's Lisa Carrillo. Add us on MySpace. MySpace.com/NerdComics. Ivan.
Lisa Carrillo, everybody. Yes. Remember, MySpace.com/NerdComics. All right, folks, your next comic is going to be a real treat. He's performed at the New York Comic Con. So, ladies and gentlemen, give a South Florida welcome to Dave Kinney.
Thank you. What's going on? You guys having a good Comic Con? Super. You know what it's comics. All right, super. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I love it though. It's like Nerd Christmas, isn't it? Like it's like the one time a year where you can like just like go and like be yourself and just see. Awesome. Awesome. I saw the dude who played Boba Fett wreck a Segway like 5 minutes ago. And that's when I knew I was in the right place. Where else do you get to see that? Because eventually he's going to get better with machines and get a jetpack. That's awesome. Love that. This is the coolest Awesome-O costume ever. Give it up for that. Very, very nice. Good stuff. See, how great is this? Nice.
Natalie, leave him
I just
alone.
made me feel bad because the button doesn't work. Alright, enough. Good stuff though. Good costume. I'm like bullying around children. This show's getting weird. Alright. Now I'm from Miami originally. I moved up to New York, and when I first moved to New York, it was hard because the only thing I knew about New York is what I knew from comic books. Which made the transition very awkward, because it's not like that. I wish it was. If real New York was like comic book New York, for one thing, you would always have an excuse to be late. You'd show up to work like 45 minutes late and your boss would be like, "Where were you?" And you're like, "Ah, Magneto. When will he be stopped?" Shut down the whole subway. Great. It'd be awesome if it was like that. I also learned about New Jersey from comic books. You do. Because if you read comic books, you know that comic book New York gets attacked every day. But those people still don't move to comic book New Jersey. That's how much New Jersey sucks. Because I mean, the city gets attacked enough that they've got to be hitting some of the same apartments. Like, you know, there's people who like, they come home, they're like, Green Goblin again, and they're like, "We should just move to Hackensack." And the other one's like, "No, are you crazy? It sucks there." Never moved to New Jersey. Now I think it would be cool if it was like comic books. I don't know, like, I talk to people about it and they're like, "Yeah, because then you would know superheroes." No, you wouldn't. I mean, how many celebrities live in Miami? Thousands. How many of them are friends with you? None of them. Not one. Not me either. You know who you would know? Bad guy henchmen. Every bad guy is like 500 henchmen. Some of them would be your friends. You'd have like ads for it on Craigslist. You're like, "Would you like $35 an hour and have also always wanted to blow up the moon?" Like, yes. Hell yeah. You know, like you have like that friend. You know, like that friend you have that has that borderline crappy job but still brags about it. He'd be the guy who would be the henchman. He'd be like, "Oh, you're still working in the office? I'm working for Dr. Octopus. Get health care." Yeah, but the only doctor on your plan is Bruce Banner. He's all like, "HMO." This is the only place in the whole world that joke works. Because it does not work in comedy clubs. No, it does not. That's the thing, like, I'm like a mainstream comedian. Like, I do comedy clubs like everyone else, but like, I also read comic books, and you come up with all these comic book jokes, and you're like, "I'm just gonna have to put this in the shame notebook, because these jokes will not..." You can't explain your complicated Green Lantern continuity joke if you're opening for Pauly Shore. You can't. It sucks. Nah, I'm enough of a nerd that like I get bothered when they screw up nerd movies. Like Wolverine. Alright. In fairness to Wolverine, that movie looked like it was gonna be a piece of crap anyway. But I went out of morbid curiosity. They didn't even get the claws right. Like the claws look horrendous, and you can't even talk to your friends because you're like, it looks so fake, and they're like, yeah, guess what? Wolverine's not real. And I'm like, shut up, I'll kill you. I hate that. Like, the only reason why that bothered me with the claws is they made 3 other X-Men movies. Like, no one could make a phone call. Like, hey, what's up? Yeah, it's the people who are doing the Wolverine movie. How did you guys do the claws? Oh, no, it's horrible. Everything's like that. Like the Superman movie came out, and I don't hate the Superman movie. Let me clarify it. Here's what I hate, is that like when they make a movie now, there has to be that drama. So the drama is like Superman comes back, but now Lois has a boyfriend. Uh-oh. How's Superman gonna win her back? Because he's Superman. Like how cool is this other guy that it's even a toss-up? Yeah, Cyclops. How many times has that guy played the other dude in relationships? Cyclops, Notebook. That guy is like an expert. If you need a guy who's not gonna bang someone, that character actor is perfect for it. No, but like he comes back and like he's like, hey, I'm back, and she's like, I don't know, I'm with him now, and he's like, you know I can fly, right? She's like, I don't know, Steve listens. You know it would be like that in real life too. Like you know you would be Superman and the girl would be like, I don't know, he listens, and you're like, I shoot lasers out of my eyes. Come on. I would hate that. Like I think it would be worse to be Superman, because like, can you imagine moving on from a relationship when you can see and hear that other guy hooking up with your ex-girlfriend from outer space? It is hard enough not stalking your ex-girlfriends on MySpace. Can you imagine? It'd be horrible. And I also feel bad for the other dude. How do you date a girl whose ex-man is Superman? That is a girl you will not impress. Like you're like, hey, I'm regional assistant manager now. She's like, oh, that's cool. My ex-boyfriend spun the world around backwards to bring me back from the dead. Oh, but that's cool that you got a week of paid vacation. That's neat. Sucks. You know he's like all paranoid. He's all like painting the house with lead paint and stuff. He's all like buying her fancy jewelry. She's like, what is this, an emerald? He's like, it's a precious green stone. Keep it on your finger. I don't trust, like they're making a Green Lantern movie. And like, I love the Green Lantern character, but like, I don't trust them to make that movie. You know why? Because they have screwed up the Punisher movie 3 times. You cannot write a more simplistic character than the Punisher. Criminals killed his family, now he's gonna kill those criminals. How hard is that? But like Hollywood, like they sit down in pitch meetings, they're like, what if he flies? No. What if we set it on the moon? No. He's just an angry guy who kills people. Plus like Green Lantern specifically, my problem with Green Lantern is, I love that character, but I cannot describe it in a way to my friends that doesn't make it sound like the gayest character ever. And I love it, like I genuinely love it, but it's like you try to describe it to people and you're like, no, there's all these rings that represent feelings and they're gonna have a war, and they're like, that sounds like gay Captain Planet. Which was gay to begin with. No, and the thing is, I'm legitimately excited about it. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. Like Sinestro. I love the character Sinestro. It's a great character, but the whole script is that like he was a good guy, but then he turned to be a bad guy. But his name was Sinestro the whole time. With that evil-ass mustache. Don't ever trust someone named Sinestro. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's like, oh, I wouldn't leave our kids with that clown. Oh, you mean Molestro? I don't think he would. Oh, you think he would? Very well. I love reading comic books.